If your son or daughter is playing out of position right now, if they're a guard being asked to play the four or a scorer being used as a facilitator, I know exactly what you're thinking. You've in, you've already invested. You've been to the trainers, the showcases, the weekend tournaments. You're not the parent who checked out. You're the one who showed up. And now the coach has your son or daughter doing something that feels like a step backwards. And you're sitting in the stands wondering whether all of that investment is going to pay off. Here's what I want you to know before we go any further. I played at the highest level. I was in NBA locker rooms. I've seen what it's like at the highest level and played against the best players in the world. I was in NBA locker rooms. I trained with the Houston Rockets. And in one season, I quadrupled my scoring and doubled my rebounding. Not because I worked harder, but because I finally had the right system. And the thing that unlocked that system for me, being asked to do something I wasn't comfortable with. I've coached over 100 players and their parents through the varsity performance system. And the parents who panicked at this moment, who complained, who pulled their kid off of the team and made it about the position, almost always look back with regret. The ones who understood what was actually happening, their players came out on the other side as the most coachable, most versatile, most recruited athletes on the roster. Now, quick heads up before we dive in, you'll see the script on the screen as we go, and I'll be walking through it with you. I'll mostly be reading from it, but I'll pause at times to expand and share different examples and give you real situations I see all the time with the families I work with and the stories that I've seen from the players who've been at the highest level of basketball. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Trey Mourning. I'm a former professional basketball player, both here in the United States and overseas. And today I work with serious basketball families across the country, helping players bridge the gap between having the skills and actually performing when it matters. Now, I primarily work with guards, ball handlers, players who touch the ball and make decisions. And here's why. When a player can handle the ball, they can do anything on the basketball court. They're not restricted by their position. They're not waiting for the game to come to them. They can go out and take it. That's the foundation everything else is built on. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. My child has worked too hard for this. They earned this spot. This isn't fair. I hear that. Life isn't fair. That concern comes from a good place, but I'm going to show you exactly why that instinct, as natural as it is, might be the thing standing between your son or daughter and their next level. By the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through what I call the versatility window, the specific phase of development where being pushed out of position either becomes the best thing that ever happened to your player or the moment that quietly stalls them for the next 2 years. You'll know exactly what side you're on and what to do about it. And here's the urgency. The recruiting timeline doesn't wait. College coaches are in gyms right now. What your son or daughter shows them this season, not next season, this one, is building or limiting their reputation. That's why I'm also going to give you my 3-position player principle, the same framework I use with every player I work with to turn positional confusion into positional power. So here's what you need to understand. 3 things. The first one is this. Your player's position is an assignment, not their identity. Most parents treat their child's position like a title. They're a point guard. And when that title gets challenged, it feels personal. But here's what elite programs understand, that almost no youth program ever teaches. At the varsity level, positions are fluid. Coaches aren't looking for a point guard. They're looking for a basketball player, someone who can guard multiple positions, make decisions under pressure, read the game from anywhere on the floor, and do whatever the team needs in that moment. I had a player come to me. His name was Jericho, and his dad had been working with him, trying to help him solve the same problem Jericho was trying to solve. But they were coming at it from 2 different directions. Dad was saying one thing, Jericho was hearing something else. And the frustration between them was just as real as the frustration on the court. Neither one of them was wrong. They just didn't have the right frameworks yet. What Jericho needed wasn't more work in his comfort zone. He needed to develop a skill set that would let him operate anywhere on the floor. So that's what we built. And over time, something shifted. He stopped seeing the situation as a problem. He started seeing it as information. He became one of the toughest players on his team, a leader, someone his teammates actually listened to, not because he demanded it, but because he had walked through the hard stuff and come out on the other side with a different perspective. He told me, I'm not worried about playing out of position anymore. I know it's building something, and when I'm back in my spot, I'm going to be a completely different player. He was right. More reps in your player's comfort zone won't build that. Only pressure does. Remember this. The position they put your son or daughter in doesn't define their ceiling. The way they handle that challenge does. The second thing, versatility is the currency that gets players recruited right now. This is the piece that most parents miss because they're thinking about this season when they should be thinking about the next 2 years. College coaches don't recruit positions the way they used to. They recruit IQ. They recruit coachability. They recruit players who can guard 1 through 3, set a screen, make a decision in the mid post, and still run pick and roll at the top of the key. That player doesn't come from comfort. They come from being stretched out of their comfort zone in exactly the situation your son or daughter is in right now. Think about what a scout is actually writing when they watch your player. They're not just clocking the shot. They're asking, does this kid adapt when things aren't set up for them? Do they get rattled? Or do they find a way to make their presence felt, regardless of the situation? The answer is being written this season, right now, whether you're aware of it or not. The versatility window is real. This is the phase where your player is either building a reputation as someone who figures it out no matter what, or becoming the kid who only produces when everything is already built for them. Coaches talk. One of the fastest ways to get a second look from a program is to have a coach say, we moved them around and they handled every situation well. Remember this. When your son or daughter plays out of position and handles it with effort and class, they are marketing themselves to every college coach in that building. The third thing, and this is the hardest one to hear, playing out of position reveals the truth about where your player actually is in their development. And when a player only performs in one role, in one position, running the set built specifically for them, that's not mastery. That's familiarity. And familiarity is not the same thing as skill. The moment the environment changes and the performance drops, the game is showing you where the real gaps are. That's not a problem with your player's talent. It's information about what still needs to be built. I've watched this pattern play out more times than I can count. A guard who looks elite in their specific role, and the second the team needs something different, they shut down mentally. They stop competing. They look to the bench. They start deferring to their other teammates to make big plays. And what that tells every coach in the building, even the ones who were already watching, is that this player hasn't been tested yet and they're not mentally tough. But here's the other side of that same truth. The players who go through that fire and don't fold, they come out of it understanding the entire game, not just their corner of it. They see passes developing before they're open. Their IQ improves. They read rotations. They become a player coaches trust in the moments that matter most because they've already proven they can handle what most players don't face until they get to college. Remember this. Your son or daughter's discomfort right now is not the problem to solve. It is the training. Here's your recap before we go. 1, position is an assignment, not an identity. How your player handles this moment matters more than what position they're playing. 2, versatility is the currency that gets players recruited. This season is a live marketing opportunity if your son or daughter approaches it with the right mindset. And 3, playing out of position reveals the truth about development. And the players who face that truth honestly come out as the ones coaches go to war to recruit. They're the players who coaches give their playing time to. Now, here's where this gets interesting. We just talked about what's happening on the floor. But underneath it all, underneath the positions, the pressure, the recruiting, there is a mindset layer that determines everything. And most guards never get taught. It's the difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. Between a player who attacks the moment and the one who hesitates every single time the game gets real. Between confidence and ego. And why most people confuse the two. That's exactly what the next video covers. If this video connected with you, you don't want to miss it. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. There's a lot more where this came from. I'm Trey. Let's change the game.